Beatbox, check.
You and your glands.
Hello, this is Shawn Harwell, and you're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast. I'm joined today, as always, by Mr.
Craig Moorhead. That's me.
Craig, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Shawn. I'm doing fine. Back from a lovely vacation and,
that's
and
good.
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good as well. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I might sound drunker than normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm good. I'm excited. You know, we got another mini episode here. This is episode 30.5, coming on the heels of our very fun Talking episode 30 with Nick and Frank from Podcasting Them Softly, where we talked about Abel Ferrara's Fear City. And yeah, I think that's a good episode to listen to and a cool movie to check out when you have the time.
For sure.
What do we do in these mini episodes, Craig?
Well, generally, Shawn, in these mini episodes, what we like to do is just talk about news of the day, news having to do with movies, things that aren't necessarily tied only to movies that most people have never heard of.
Okay, well, let's start with actually some TV stuff.
That sounds great. Just
watched the very first teaser for the upcoming Netflix series Haters Back Off. Now, fun title, obviously.
Sorry.
A very topical title. And this is based on the YouTube series Miranda Sings, I think is the name of the series on YouTube. But the reason I wanted to mention it because our good buddy and director Todd Rohal has directed at least one or two episodes of this series, if I'm not mistaken. And
I believe 2, yeah.
That's great. And it stars Colleen Ballinger and Steve Little. And if you don't like Steve Little, then I think you should probably stop this podcast right now and go check yourself.
Yeah. Before you wreck yourself.
I was gonna say like into a clinic.
Oh,
but it's a very short teaser. Steve is in it, and yeah, it looks interesting. I've only seen brief clips of the YouTube thing, and I think it's designed to be grating. Would you say that's fair?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm not sure. I don't have a handle on it just yet. I heard some behind the scenes stories, which I will not be sharing right now.
No, we can't do that.
But everything sounds like it's come out pretty good.
That's great.
So I'm very eager to see.
And
this stuff.
Yeah, and from this little teaser, it definitely looks like a TV show. It doesn't look like a YouTube show. So I'm excited about that, and it's dropping very soon, October 14th on Netflix. So go check that out. We'll post the teaser.
Don't miss it.
Yeah. Another TV thing, I just wanted to ask you, because this just happened recently, the Emmys, and I don't know why, but I swear to God, like, I cannot think of a single time in my life I've watched the Emmys. Does that hold interest to you? I mean, I feel like I don't, just does not. I don't remember seeing people share their excitement for the Emmys on Facebook. Maybe I just wasn't logged on at that time. It feels more of an industry self-congratulatory thing than even the Oscars, to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I think it's more self-congratulatory necessarily than the Oscars, but no, I can't say it's a big draw. It's the kind of thing where if I have nothing to do that evening and my wife has nothing to do that evening, we might turn it on. And then eventually we'll turn it off because all anyone's talking about are people's dresses but no, it really doesn't. And I don't know exactly why. I don't have a dog in the fight for the Oscars either, but I'm much more likely to watch the Oscars than the Emmys.
Well, and I think that's actually part of it, for me anyway, is the increasing number of quality television shows and outlets for these shows. The more likely it is for people like me, at least, to not have seen any of them. I remember, I think it was the Golden Globes last year, there was a show called The Affair that won, like, Best Drama, or it was at least nominated and mentioned very highly. I had never even come close to having a clue what that show was about. It was a complete news to me that this thing existed. And also, the timing is a little weird to me. Like, I know Bloodline, I think, picked up a couple awards for their first season, but their second season has been out for weeks now. So, there's something about the timing of that feels weird to me. And now that TV is like such a year-round thing, I mean, there's, look, we got a show coming out October 14th. It feels like some of this stuff is past tense already by the time it's being awarded.
It does kind of feel like that. And I also get that same sense that you have of maybe the Emmy sprawl, which it feels like it could happen to the Oscars too, honestly, just because there's so much being done all the time and there's so much being ignored. because of just the sheer amount of things being made. But and I'll tell this story mainly to brag and sort of name drop. But I was nominated for a couple Emmys.
That's right, you were.
A number of years ago, and the Emmys were for these video documentary shorts that I made for National Geographic, and there were a team of us. We were all doing our own things, but we were all kind of one big group, and all the videos were a part of one particular story, I guess. And so we were all nominated together as producers and editors. And there was a whole ceremony and all that stuff. Obviously, it's not televised because nobody wants to watch that. I mean, nobody. But
did you go to the ceremony?
Oh yeah, I went to both. I mean, I was super excited.
Well, I'm not
going to pass that up.
Let's paint the picture here. Where did this ceremony take place?
The ceremony took place in New York City.
Okay.
And it was the news and documentary Emmys.
Okay.
So it's like I met Ted Koppel, Jon Stewart.
Awesome.
Did a thing one year. It's like there are people there. It's not like it's at the Holiday Inn off Route 9. But it's also not something that I even knew existed. Like when I found out I was nominated, I thought, "Oh my God, I'm going to the Emmys."
Yes.
And it wasn't for weeks that I realized, "Oh, there's several different Emmys." And that's not the one I'm going to.
Did you guys win?
Oh, heck no.
See, like I said, screw the Emmys, right?
Yeah, I know. That's how I knew they were out of touch. No, but that was really the time when I was kind of like, wow, like they're covering a lot of ground here. I mean, like I would have never known these existed at all.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Well, that's nuts. Congratulations on your nomination. I do, there's definite value for that. And maybe I phrased it incorrectly when talking about industry self-congratulatory, but I do think, that's where the value is. Like, it's good for your career to be nominated for an Emmy.
Oh, it's great for mine, yeah.
Yeah, that's something that you can hold on to for the rest of your life. It's great. So I don't like dismiss anything about that of it, but as like a show I want to watch on TV, not so much.
Yeah, agreed.
Unfortunately, Curtis Hanson passed away. This will be last week by the time you're listening to this. Age 71, it said that he died peacefully in his sleep. I think he had a really rare degenerative disease and had been unhealthy for a while. It's very sad news. He was an interesting career trajectory. It felt like everything happened after he was probably 40, if not 50 something. Like it was a little bit later in his life. LA Confidential, and then Wonder Boys and 8 Mile, just a big streak right there.
Well, he was already in his 50s when he was hitting that stride,
River Wild, and he started as a writer and was a producer as well. Do you have a favorite Curtis Hanson movie, or just one that you would go revisit?
Well, I would definitely revisit LA Confidential in a second. Wonder Boys, the same. It really surprised me when 8 Mile came out, and I saw his name on it. Just because, before I knew what it was even going to be, I was like, he did the Eminem movie? Like,
I know.
What is that going to be? Like, that sounds terrible. And then guess what? It's not terrible.
It's definitely not terrible. No, it's good.
It's definitely not terrible. But I have to say, I have to go back a couple years because I remember in the theater watching The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Yes.
And The River Wild. I don't know. There are very few of these that I couldn't find some reason to revisit.
Yeah, super entertaining. Yeah,
he's got a really pretty solid group of movies here.
Well, and really varied. I think specifically coming off the heels of LA Confidential to go and do Wonder Boys. I mean, that's a pretty big tonal shift in a lot of ways. I think he could have gone and made a movie like Traffic or something like that. It would have felt like a really sort of more natural progression. And I'm kind of admire more that he didn't,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And then he made that movie with Cameron Diaz, In Her Shoes, and that was another kind of curveball as well.
Yeah.
One movie I want to mention, though, that was actually brought to my knowledge by noted director in his own right, Craig Zobel, was this movie from '78 that Curtis Hanson wrote called The Silent Partner. It stars Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
It's a really cool kind of bank heisty movie Elliot Gould is a bank teller for like a bank branch that's in a shopping mall. I think it all takes place in Canada. And Christopher Plummer comes in. I think he plays like the what do they call it? Salvation Army Santas. That's got the bell and the bowl, like the little change bowl, you know?
Yeah.
And he comes in and Elliot Gould witnesses, or he discovers that Christopher Plummer was intending to rob the bank, but for some reason bailed.
Yeah.
And so Elliot Gould, then makes it so that when Christopher Plummer comes back and does rob the bank, he actually gives him like a bag full of nothing, and Gould himself makes off with like $60,000 or something like that. And then Christopher Plummer figures out what happened and goes after him. And it's just like, it's clever. It's got a cool little twist to it.
Wow, no, I got to check that out. That sounds great.
Yeah, I don't know if it's floating around online anywhere, but seek that out, The Silent Partner.
Yeah. And wait a second, he wrote White Dog, the Samuel Fuller movie, which we've mentioned a few times on this program.
Well, in White God specifically, yep.
Yeah, interesting.
Let's, I guess, dive into the box office, yeah?
Let's dive.
I don't remember. Did you pick Sully to win? The second week it was out?
I haven't been like writing down what the predictions are, which I need to start doing right now.
Well, I'm so embarrassed by them.
Well, exactly. I want to wipe them from my memory. But I also am thinking back to what I said, or what I might have said, and like all of my ideas about it are so mushy that I feel like I don't know if I really predicted anything. Like I might have just said, Sully could be it, or that one could be it. Like I never feel like I really picked one. So
okay, well, I'm going to hold you to it today. Yeah. I think I went with Blair Witch, and that didn't do too great. I mean, it was a very low budget, so it made, I think, under $10 million. And
that was surprising.
I don't know, man. I thought it was going to do a little better than that. Bridget Jones did better than Blair Witch, but didn't do great either. Right. And so Sully had a good, strong
I feel like I probably
week.
said something about Snowden, but I don't think that.
Yeah, none of those really clicked. It's kind of interesting. No. So we're moving to the weekend of the 30th, and the big movies coming out. We got Deepwater Horizon, this action drama about the oil tanker, or they don't call that a tanker. What do they call those? The stations.
Like the offshore drilling station.
There you go. The explosion. Yep. And then Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, based on the book, directed by Tim Burton, starring Eva Green and some of his regulars. And a big holdover from the week before would be The Magnificent Seven, I think, as well as the animated comedy Storks. Smaller movies coming out the 30th. You've got Masterminds, which is the Jared Hess-directed comedy with Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis. Our buddies Danny McBride and Jodie Hill had a hand in the screenplay at one point. And this movie, unfortunately, got pushed around and pushed back because of Relativity, the studio. I think filed for bankruptcy and everything. So this is one of their last releases, I believe. So I don't know. I love Jared Hess, and I'm always interested in seeing what he does. I don't know how that will do with box office against the other two things. And then one other movie I wanted to mention was American Honey, which I think stars Shia LaBeouf and some other young actors that I'm not that familiar with. But I do know the director is Andrea Arnold, a British woman who did a great movie called Fish Tank. Michael Fassbender, one of the first things I ever saw him in. And then she did a reboot of Wuthering Heights and a couple other things. Yeah. And, man, she's really, really good. And this movie's getting great reviews. But, again, it'll be limited release.
Sure. Well,
and since you think you watched over actual predictions last time, I want you to come in strong and hard and commit.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. And you're going to nail it. I can feel it already.
One movie I want to bring up right now, and I don't even know how to pronounce it, because I haven't seen a single ad for this until I just was looking on IMDb right now. I'm going to guess it's Queen of Katwe.
I see it here. It's a sports drama is what Box Office Mojo calls it.
Is it a sports drama?
I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
That's what they've got listed as a genre.
It's a Disney movie.
Yep.
It's got Mira Nair directed it. Let's see. She did Vanity Fair, which I know as well. Monsoon Wedding was hers. Mississippi Masala was really good. Why do I not even know this exists?
Good cast, too. You got Lupita Nyong'o, who I'm sure I butchered her last name, and David Oyelowo from Selma, who he's terrific. Yeah, I mean, he's great. I'm
feeling outraged. I wish I'd heard about this already.
Meanwhile, in my limited TV watching, I've seen so many previews for Deepwater Horizon. They're really pushing that.
Yeah, well, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe I just haven't been watching enough TV lately because I haven't seen. I watched a trailer for that a while back, but I haven't seen it otherwise. Like I haven't seen it on TV.
Peter Berg,
but I mean, it's
Kurt Russell, Mark Wahlberg. I mean,
yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, you got to look at this and you got to say, will Magnificent Seven have punched its way in? I mean, you've got some great people writing it. Anton Fuqua has made at least a couple of my favorite action movies. You got a really strong cast there.
Super strong cast.
That could be a lot of fun. I remember watching the trailer and thinking that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Storks, you would expect would just be, like it'll go through the roof because it's a kid's animated movie. I've seen a lot of the trailers. It hasn't appealed to me, but neither did Secret Life of Cats and Dogs or whatever. And that didn't hurt too bad.
And there's not much else hanging around still for that
there's really
crowd.
Not taking the kids to Magnificent Seven. Or Deepwater Horizon, for that matter.
Oh, man. You wuss.
Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children? I know, I am.
I actually liked the trailer for that. I thought it was pretty good.
For which one?
Peregrine's.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it does look good. And I was trying to figure out how dark a movie it is.
I can't tell. I don't know.
At all. Like there are parts of it that seem kind of especially dark. I mean, clearly up Tim Burton's alley.
Oh, hands down.
And it doesn't look quite as sort of overdone as I guess the first Alice in Wonderland movie did to me.
Yeah.
Like it looks kind of rooted in something. Like it looks really interesting.
And it's got Rupert Everett from Comfort of Strangers in there.
Yeah.
Who we haven't seen in a while.
And maybe there's a similar ending. So and as much as I hate to say it, I don't see Masterminds blowing up the box office mainly because I feel like for whatever reason, people have decided to ignore Jared Hess.
Yeah.
And every time he makes a movie, I like it. So I wish it would be the big one.
Yeah.
But
for some reason, come on. He hit the lottery right out of the gate, so.
He did. He did. I'm going to just say probably Deepwater Horizon. If Magnificent Seven isn't number one, it'll probably be Deepwater Horizon.
Okay. You want to go? Let's do a
in
top.
My voice is because I know I'm wrong.
Right. Let's do a top four since we do have some big movies.
Okay.
There's at least 4 big movies, 5 if you count Sully hanging around. Let's put them in order, 1 to 4.
Okay.
You say Deepwater first.
I say probably Deepwater.
Okay. 2.
2 for me will be Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, what am I talking about? Storks will probably be higher.
Could be.
Like, Storks will probably be number 2. I'm going to say Deepwater Horizon, Storks, Magnificent Seven, and then Peregrines.
Okay. And then Sully down in 5.
Yeah.
I do think Magnificent Seven, you have the Chris Pratt factor, and he's a big draw right now. I like your Deepwater Horizon pick, but I'm going to say Magnificent Seven will hold on just because we'll need something to laugh at after I make this prediction. So I'll go Magnificent Seven, Deepwater. I'll do Storks and then Sully, and then I think Miss Peregrine's is just going to not find quite the footing with everything else that's out there.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see. Like, as always, we'll be back to tell you nothing at all about how wrong we were. We'll just let you figure that out yourself.
None of this will be of any consequence.
But actually, we'll be back next time with another full-bodied episode where we're talking about the 1973 pseudo-horror, kind of horror, really not a horror movie. Nothing But the Night from noted production company Hammer Films. It stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And if nothing else, I highly recommend you watch the last 10 minutes of this movie on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
I think you'll enjoy it out of context, in context, zero context, or you can make up your own context.
Yeah,
I think
that's what's so fun.
It is something to behold, and we're going to definitely talk about it on that episode. And we look forward to having you join us for that.
We really do.
As always, you can find us online, Never Heard of It Podcast, neverheardpodcast.com. Is that our website? Neverheardpodcast.com. That'll take you everywhere else you need to go. Go subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, wherever else you want to subscribe. Reviews are always nice, but not necessary.
Feel free to hit us up on Facebook and like the page and
yeah,
all that
fun
stuff.
Talk
back to us. Talk some smack.